I am back with a 100 Days of Code video. I'm starting it a bit different today because I'm a little bit under the weather, but I still have to keep up with my 100 Days of Code. I'm also uploading it late just because of how under the weather I've been feeling, and I was hoping that I would be better by today to upload, but unfortunately not. But that's all right. Um, so today I'm going to go over this week. I'll say I learned about async and wait and await in JavaScript. I also continued my Python learning um, and working with Python more. Um, and then with async and await, I also was looking into how to use it for my React project as well that I'm working on. So that's a little bit of what I've been doing this week. But today I am going to do Python and more of what I've learned on Pythons. So today I'm going to combine two of my days. It was, I want to say Thursday and Friday. Um, two of my days of learning, which were conditional statements and loops. So little to my knowledge, I did loops. I had done a loop in my previous video with Python, and then as I was reading about the loops, I was like, oh wait, I've done this already. Excuse me. So I'm actually going to start with the conditional statement. So basically, a conditional statement is very simple. Oh, that didn't work out. It's very simple. So it's basically like if 4 is less than 5, right? And then print true. And then true should come out. And then if you wanted to do like an else statement, right, it would be else print false. And for now, let me make this greater than 5 so you can see that that works. So now false comes out. So a quick little note here. So the colon is a really important indication that this is going to be the start of the conditional statement. And then anything that's indented here is part of that same conditional statement. So for an instance, let's change this back to here. So print true and then print part 2. And now when we do this, both of these print because this is still all under the same conditional statement if 4 is less than 5. So that's basically how the if statements work. There's also instead of just if and else, if I wanted to say elif, right? This is for not anything with numbers, but something a little bit more complex. So if 4 is greater than 5, print true. Elif 4 is less than 5. So let me just get that spacing. It's gonna be print. This should run. And then we're here, and that should run go. So this is basically if, this is like else if you use other languages and are familiar with that. And then this is else, like, so if both of these are false, then this is going to print. So if this is true, whatever is here is going to print. Else if this is true, then this is going to print. Or else if none of these are true, then this will print. So now, how can we transfer that? So this is all about logic, right? So it's basically like if it's raining out, you can't go to the beach. Or if it's sunny outside, you won't be able to see the stars. It's basically like an if-then statement. So that way it's simple logic of how you want this to print out and what you want it to print. All right, so now let's do the loops. So there's a for loop, which I did in my previous video. So if we say equals 1, 2, 3, we'll keep that as 34, right? And then we say for dig in x and print dig. So now this should print out 1, 2, 34, and 5. 1, 2, 34, and 5 each on its own line. So it went to 1, it printed this, and it looped through it. It looped through this list. Working with lists, which are also considered arrays in other languages, is something else that I did this week with Python as well. So then it went, all right, so this digit is done. Let's come through here. So now that's 2, and then 34, and 5. And we can also do this with a variable. So we can say this is going to be hello there. And this should all print out. It might take a while. Give it a second. I think I broke it. Let's see what's happening here. There it is. Hello there. So this is, it can be basically used with anything, but it loops through each one and prints it out on a separate line. But there's another one called a while loop. So let's make this a counter, right? So counter equals 5, right? So now we're going to say while counter is greater than or equal to 0, we're going to print the counter, right? So it'll start off with 5, and then we're going to say counter minus equals 1. So this will subtract it by 1 and then equal that. And then we're just going to make this high, so that way when we run it, it's not, it doesn't take forever. So we have high printed out there, and then we have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. So the while, you have to give it a conditional, basically almost like, so while this number is greater than or equal to 0. So basically until this number reaches 0, you're going to print out every digit and then subtract it by 1. And that's basically how the loops work within Python. It's very simple. I'm really enjoying it so far because it's such an easy language and it's kind of fun so far. And I can't wait to get to more of the complex things. And I'm just excited to document this with you until I become, more proficient in Python. And I will see you all next week. Hopefully I'm in better spirits and I'll be able to do like a true video. I promise.